So in this video, I'm going to be talking all about the setup on VRBO, which I've been referring to as home away in some previous videos. So VRBO used to be the kind of host side, but home away was the guest side, but it's all just become one aspect, which is vacation rental by owner. So what you would do, you would come to this site, VRBO.com, and you would go to list your property here. So again, general just has some searches when you're looking. You can explore other properties on here as well if you want some comparisons, but you'd go to list your property and it goes, see how much you can earn. So you'd be like, okay, I've got a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom property in, let's just say, I've been doing Sudbury before, haven't I? So let's go Sudbury, Suffolk. Here's where I live. So go next. It wants the exact address, so I'm just going to put my address, even though that's not actually one to have. So you basically create an account and you would go next from there. I already have an account, so once you have an account, you go to this page and it's basically lists all your properties where you can edit them. You select a property, go through them. So again, looking at the Highwoods House one we've done before. And it goes to a dashboard, and that's where guests come. So you can see already we have a guest coming in today for a whole month. So you do get bookings on this site, and it's well worth doing. But yes, that's something that is worth considering, obviously being on here, because it's really important with Reservation Manager, where you can obviously have your conversations, your reservation list, your performance, you put all your property details in here. But what you would do is you would go to add a new property if you haven't obviously gone through the other process, and we're just going to do that again on here so it sees how much you can earn. So I'm just going through this because I've already obviously got a login. Where's the address? I'm just going to do the Highwoods House again. Because I'm doing that one, and it goes, okay, based on this location, you could earn up to £458 per month with 75% occupancy. So obviously it's just saying that could be a general average. So this could be based on you doing per room, doing per whole house. So it's not saying that's what you're going to earn, but that's saying what, not there's a minimum, not as a maximum, that's just a potential. So if that is across one agent, you get £458, you get a few hundred off another, get 1,000 off another. You soon see how the money starts to add up. You would go to the next to start earning, and again it's quite straightforward on VRBO to set up property. So you just go through these steps. So you add the location details, photos, payment pricing, and the booking readiness is whether you're ready to take bookings. So it's just 5 steps to get going to list your property. Then you can add more details as you go along to publish your listing. So you verify the location. It couldn't find it because I haven't obviously got a number. So I'm just gonna make up a number that's not actually my property. So if it doesn't come up, you go, my address is correct, and you go continue, and then it comes up roughly of where it is. And again on the map, this one you actually click the actual logo and go from there and just move it along. So you just move the little point to where you want it to be. When you're happy, just check the address matches up what it is, and you carry on. So obviously that address wouldn't be correct for me because I'd want it to say exactly the town where it is. And then you start adding the details about the space. So what type of property is it? Is it a boat, a building, cabin? So you get all types on VRBO. They're going for the unique to the normal in terms of the hotels and lodges, etc. So once you've picked what type, so I'm just going to go apartment, you're then allowed to put what types of beds you have. So I have a king in this one. And how many beds do you have in that bedroom? What's in this one? Let's go with a twin, which not most people tend to do because it's zip and link. You can add other bed types, you can have bedrooms, you can add common areas like the beds and couches. How many bathrooms? Is it half shower, full? What's in there? So just like a bathroom shower, bathroom two. Okay, this one's just a shower. And then you keep going adding bathrooms and you go next. You basically just work step by step through this to include information. So what amenities does it have? You click on the ones it has, like internet, wireless internet. Does it have parking? Has it got a garage? Have you got a barbecue, for example? So all these things you think about what you want to provide as a host to your guests. Are you professional, private host? I'm just going to go private for this one. looking for examples, so you type in some headlines. Here's some great examples of comparison. So it thinks I'm in a different location right now, based on these. So look, like romantic Spanish villas, you could be like romantic couples getaway house. Just making this up, and then you just literally carry on. These are examples of how some people word it to give you ideas of what they are. You can write as much as you want in this heading, and then you put your description, which is basically what I was saying before on booking.com about selling the property, where its lovely elements are, where it's located, why you've gone there, why you picked this area, what it means to you. So again, I'm just putting house just to fill it in for now. Obviously, put as much information as possible there. I think there's a minimum amount of characters in here. Yeah, I've got to add 200 characters. So house location is really lovely. I'm just going to keep copy and pasting this just so we can move to the next step. So if you've gone past that certain element now, 200 characters minimum, you go to next. How many overnight guests can you have? What's the maximum? What's the maximum number of adults? So again, this could be slightly different along the way, the maximum number of adults, additional guests, etc. Is the primary rental need to meet a minimum age? So you can have minimum ages like, I only want it to be 25, I want it to be 18. So thinking of all these things along the way. It's like, yes, let's do 25, just whatever feels right for you. Maximum number of guests, let's go 4. Are events allowed? No. Are pets allowed? No. Or yes, whatever you decide, Are children allowed? Number of pets? 1. 10 pies. I'm just going to click dog, so you go through what you want, so you get people. What size? Let's go up to less than 25, so most pets, but I'm just going through the process. It's what you put. You can go no pets allowed if you want. Are children allowed? Yes. What ages are allowed? So again, it depends on the safety. Like I was saying before, I'm pushing for little stairs, and there's big gaps, and you've got to think about safety for your children. If you are going for a children, like a child-safe property, make sure it is child-safe. So as someone who is a parent, it's not something I've really considered before I was a dad, but you want to consider, if you're going child-safe, if you're allowing children below 0 and 2, you want to be thinking about the safety around the house. So are there like the safety catches on your kitchen cabinets, on your drawers? Are things fixed to the wall like wardrobes, chest of drawers? Because they're going to climb on it, they're going to pull on it, and you want to make sure they don't fall over and get injured. If you're not making it child safe, you shouldn't be saying that it's friendly, allowed for children. Obviously, if someone brings their children, that's up to them, but you just make it clear that it's not ready for them in that sense. Is smoking allowed? No. Carry on to next. So again, it's up to you whether you would put yes, but most people put no in this day and age. And excuse me, you should add your photos in. As you do, you're just going through the process here again. So I'm just going to add my photos in. Again, saving your photos in a particular file, go through that at a later date. So again, just going to pick some random pictures. These are not my professional ones, but let's just put them on anyway, just because we're just going through the process. Actually, it's not professional, it says they don't meet the requirements, but it's fine for just this purpose, and it'll come up with these little elements along the way, showing they're not very good quality. Because we just took these photos just to show cleanness of what the property looked like. You're done with this step, so you protect your account and go through that step going forward. So you just continue working through this progress, which is pretty straightforward. Do you set deposits? You add your bank account in here. So this is how they pay you. You agree to the terms and conditions, and then you basically get ready to submit, and you get to a point where you're adding in your pricing, adding in where you make payments from in case you need to pay any bills to VRBO, and then basically you publish your listing. So you can either block out the entire calendar or select data available. So again, you will link it up to your channel manager. Obviously, I can't show you how to do that unless I know which channel manager you're going to be using. So that's through the group support or the one-to-one coaching. We'll go through that. But yeah, you obviously, to begin with, I would say block out the calendar, and then when you've got it linked, you can unblock it all going forward. So then you just get to the point where you go live and you publish it. And like I said, once you get to the stage where you are good to go, so it's now got it in here, so I will delete that eventually. You just go back to my properties and it'll be listed in there. So again, it's going to probably be down here. Yeah, so you've got to finish the onboarding. So if you get to part of the way through, just carry on finishing your onboarding. I'm going to archive this one because I don't actually want it to be there. So when you archive the property, it just won't be seen by potential guests. So again, if you have properties you end up closing down, closing for a short period of time because of maintenance, you just block them out in that sense. And then this is that property that obviously I was just going to duplicate, and you just go into this. So we did a zoo themed house in this one, which gets some really good feedback, and you work towards being a Premier host. So I lost Premier hosting because I cancelled one guest stay, because they couldn't stay because we had an issue with maintenance. So again, you have to work towards that. Every so often you'll get assessed. So when it gets to that point, it's basically about cancellations. If you don't cancel someone, it's okay. But I had to move to a different apartment, so they wanted me to actually switch it properly. You just go through the process here, go onto the host site where you basically can meet more information, kind of the host platform. You can put local laws in if you are in a location where you have like fees if you're abroad and you have to take like fees for coming into and staying in the country, like you do in some hotels, then you put them in there. And yeah, just everything you do, you have your calendar. You just work through this step by step till it's good to go. And yeah, you add your calendar in. You see how the calendar is. You link that to your channel manager, so you can see it's all blocked out here. And then if you obviously want to see the property itself, I believe there is a section to see the actual listing. Just need to remember where that is to show you that. But again, it's very straightforward to find if you're not too sure when going around things. I've just clicked on exactly the same page, so just not thinking straight clearly there. So you can go back to the dashboard. And where you go to, where is it on here? I can't remember exactly where it is, but it's somewhere under one of the property details, I believe. You literally just click on it and see the end listings. Here it is. So you can list status active, and you can see it on Expedia as well. So when you're on VRBO, it links it on to Expedia. So it's just to show you what it looks like on Expedia. So the two sites are linked. So you don't need to list it on both of them. It's just an example of how it comes to this. It pulls through the information from VRBO. People put in the dates. Got some things that are near it. And yeah, just a bit about us as you go through. A bit about me. So all that information basically pulls through. That's the good thing. So with VRBO, you will find as well that when someone contacts you to stay, they haven't necessarily come through VRBO. They could have come through several different sites to be listed. But again, there are lots of other sites you want to be on. TripAdvisor for sure. VRBO, Expedia will be on there as well. And like that list was before of all the different sites to be on, there are tons. The niche ones, the more regular ones that people know about. You want to get on as many of them as possible, get your managing agent to be on as many of them as possible, as well as going for direct bookings. But when you're starting, this is how you're going to build your business to begin with.